Hello, YouTube. I'm back on the mediocre PS5 microphone with another video. This one doesn't really have a goal, I guess. I just want to talk about Tekken 8 again. So, I already talked about how the Season 2 patch sucked. We've been over this. Everyone knows it already. Blah, blah, blah. So, let's actually look to the future and go, what can we do to make Season 3 better? You know, Miyari's coming soon. In December, I'll be able to play her. But I don't know when they're going to do a Season 3 balance patch, but I don't know. So let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about what I want for Season 3 that I think will make this game better. One, it is super good that they add a buffer. Like, you can buffer and do this. I'm bad at it, but it's super good that they add a buffer to crouching for sidesteps, bigger sidestep buffer, and you can sidestep down from crouch. That's super good. But these sidesteps, not gonna lie, not that big. I played Tekken 5 DR recently online with a friend, and sidesteps were insane in that game. So, like, you had absurd backdashes and sidesteps in that game. And in this game, the backdashes are kind of whatever. But the sidesteps are better than Tekken 7, which is not a high bar, but they're still not that big. It still feels like a million things track you, and the tracking rules feel fake. Because, like, your sidestep ends when you sidewalk. Oops. Like, as soon as my sidewalk starts, that's when the... Sorry. I guess I'm doing it too slow. Like, how fast you enter a sidewalk changes tracking on moves, because... some moves will track sidewalk, some will track sidestep. It's very confusing. There's not an obvious way to tell what moves do or don't do that. But this game's tracking rules feel fake. I think the biggest thing we can do is nerf the crap out of tracking on a lot of moves and bust sidestep strength. Make us feel like we're actually moving around moves. There are so many moves. There are too many examples. Like, let me say June back 2-2. I don't have June up here, but like June back 2-2 tracks sidestep right, I think, at first, and then it tracks sidestep left on the second hit. Like, what? And like, if I make Jin block, then sidestep left. Let's say we do this. That'll catch him. Samsara is an evasive launcher. This might just be preference or opinion, but I don't think evasive launcher should track, like, at all. And I know that's like asking for a Devil Jin nerf, but this will actually kind of segue into something. Devil Jin is my main, but I do think basically almost every character in the game basically needs some amount of nerfs. We have so many insane moves that like track, plus on block, absurd damage, that wall splat, etc., etc. And it's just like, what are we doing? Like, seriously, what are we doing? Like, I don't know what we're doing. And so, like, you see the stuff Brian can do? That dude can just do tracking wall splats that are safe, that are mid. And you apply this to a bunch of characters with dumb 50-50s. Like, this is a stupid 50-50. Just do that, or... Sorry. There. Like, just do this versus this. Boom, take a guess. Now you just died. Like, the 50-50s in this game are kind of crazy. And you could say, well, that's a hell sweep. And you're right. But do you really want to take this much damage? Sorry, I'm bad at this game. Do you really want to take this much damage every time you guess wrong in a low? By the way, this can get higher with stage breaks. Like, with floor breaks. So, yeah, characters need a bunch of tracking nerfs. I think tracking nerfs are the biggest thing. Like, having a million tracking mids is why a lot of people feel like this game is 2D. Like, it's not that you can't sidestep some fake tracking moves, pseudo tracking moves, but like, we have so many tracking moves that it actually just feels like you can't move half the time. So, that's the biggest thing. Tracking and character nerfs. Because the characters, it's not that characters being overpowered is bad, per se, because Tekken 5 DR has a lot of broken characters, and it was still really fun, so is Tag 2. But when every character starts to have super overbearing moves, it starts to make the defense feel bad. It's like, I can't really defend myself. Like, how do I defend myself against, like, I don't know, Anna nonsense, where she just, like, forward forward 2, super fast tracking high, or like any other character, like I don't know, Brian quarter circle back 1. Like, let's just pretend this is just Brian's quarter circle forward 1, quarter circle back 1. Like, how do I deal with that crap? I don't know. Take a raw guess, because that's what they want you to do. They just want you to take raw guesses because the movement is not that strong and tracking is all over the place. So if we nerf both of those and give characters less overbearing moves, like do everything moves, like in Heat, if I'm not mistaken, this demon paw will like track either direction. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it tracks that side. This will track this side. Okay, it doesn't always track, depending on how early I buffer it. Yeah, but like, some moves will track better, or like, if he's further away from me, it will track. Because Demon Paw's tracking kind of depends on where it is. And this sounds counterintuitive because people like execution, but even Electric Wing Godfist needs to be toned down. Like, I know Deviljins has the best tracking, but like, and I get it that when you delay it, it will add tracking, but I feel like the Electric Wing Godfish should probably have more whiff recovery if I can actually perform it. Sorry, I was playing a PS4 controller recently, so I'm not used to it, not as comfortable with PS5, but like, Electric Wing Godfish has very good tracking, and it's really hard to whiff punish. Like, I don't know why a move as overpowered as this needs like insanely good whiff recovery and good tracking. And people try to defend it by saying it's execution based. I'm like, having good execution's fine, but like, I don't think that you should have to basically raw duck a +5 on block launcher and still struggle to whiff punish it because it has like 18 frames of whiff recovery. Oh, I mentioned frame data. Can we actually please have a display for whiff recovery? You could see my startup frames on the bottom left, and you can see how plus on hit I am, or on block I am, whenever I land it, or whatnot, but I can't actually see how much whiff recovery my moves have. So how am I supposed to know how much whiff recovery a move has? Even some frame data websites don't tell you, because it's not available in-game. So that's a good quality of life change I think they should add. Like, if I'm not mistaken, like most other fighting games have it. I know at least Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat have it. I'm guessing Guilty Gear has it. I wouldn't know, but I'm going to guess they do. So that'd be a huge quality of life thing. Another one that plays into this is parries. Parries don't have startup. Like, I'm pressing parry, but I have no startup. You have to manually check with specific frame traps how fast your parry is. If I'm not mistaken, most parries are frame 5, even like Clive's and Deviljins. But you have to do a test with like gen frame traps just to know. So why can't you just see how fast your parry is? Again, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat do this. Hell, Mortal Kombat's been doing this since 2015. And we still haven't gotten it in Tekken. This would just be a nice quality of life. On parries, I do have an unpopular opinion where I don't think that chickening is that cool of a mechanic. I don't know. I don't like the idea of taking damage when you parry another person, which is why I already hate Deviljins parry. But I think this kind of makes me not like chickening as much. But can we have like parries be like 1 frame faster or something? This game, because parries I think got nerfed in Tekken 8 in terms of speed, you can't use parries as reliably in strings. So the main purpose of parrying, which is to stop certain strings, is now weaker in this game. And parries as a whole feel pretty weak because parries in this game, they don't... Like, it'd be easier if I just pull it up. Parries in this game, they only deal gray damage. They only do 25 damage. They're slower in this game than they used to be. And, like, let me pull it up. Oops. Like, let me just make him do stand for. Like, he only takes 25 damage. And not only does he only take 25 damage, all of it is gray. So that's great. And parries aren't that fast. And some of them don't have that many active frames. I don't know what they are because, again, we don't have frame data on it. Like, if I do nothing here, I don't know how many active frames it has. I mean, sure, Asuka can hold hers, so she doesn't care. But, like, you're telling me that parries can't parry anything now. You can't parry unblockables. You can't parry rage arts, which some parries used to be able to. You can't parry jump attacks for the most part. You can't parry heat smashes. Like, you can't parry anything in this game. So the fact that they got a damage nerf and it's all gray health just tells me they don't want people parrying, because this game wants you to armor attack. That's all they want you to do. They want you to be -7, so when you're -5 to 7 on block, they're like, oh, you want to escape? Armor attack, armor attack, armor attack. And it's like, bruh. And it's like, because the reason why armor attacking is like, for me, it feels kind of not as cool because it's like, oh, I'm just powering through it. But from a gameplay perspective, it means that people are more likely to get stuck in awful situations at low health, because to armor attack, you have to lose health, pretty much. So you can get chip killed. With a parry, if I parry a move, I take no damage, unless it's Devil Jin, because Devil Jin sucks. So, like, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want people parrying because it's technically defensive, because the thing with a parry is that it's only defensive. It's only a reaction move, which is kind of why I'm not sure why they didn't add more Sabakis like this that, like, beat it, you know? Like, sorry. Oops. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There we go. Jeez, sorry. So, like, they did introduce some new Sabakis, I think, but, like, they just want you to use armor attack, because the reason I'm assuming they made parry so weak is because parries stop offense. Armor attacks do stop offense, but at the cost of health. So that's still in the favor of the person attacking, the one putting you in the frame trap and stuff, putting you in the awful guessing game. So even if you do armor attack, you can't armor attack at low health. So it's overall sort of like a net negative to you for even armor attacking at +7. So I don't know. I think parries can use like a small buff, partly because I just think they're kind of cooler than just like bonk. And I don't think the game would break just because we make parries slightly faster or give them like an extra like active frame or so, because they're whiff punishable. If someone whiffs a parry, like assume this is a normal parry, that's very whiff punishable. Now, of course, with Asuka, she can hold her, but that's the point. Besides all of that, I guess something I did want for Tekken 8 is slightly buffed backdashes. I know some people don't want backdashes buffed because we might get Tekken 7, but we are not getting Tekken 7. Like, unless this game starts giving us, like, universal magic force that launch, because this is not a launch, bro. I'm just getting this. Or I'm just getting, like, or just getting that. Like, I'm not getting a full launch. We're not getting Tekken 7 like that. And we don't have, like, safe tracking. We don't have, like, safe tracking mid counter hit launchers. Instead, we just have safe, like, plus on block tracking mids or something, because why not? So I think we could have tiny, like, I don't know, acceleration buff, I guess we would kind of call it, like a sight distance buff. Please forgive my Korean backdash. My Korean backdash is trash. So yeah, just a tiny backdash buff I think would be fine. Of course, an obvious thing. Okay, I'll just sum it up. Bandai Namco, you have to make a choice. I will give two options for how they can go about Season 3, like, as a concept. Either A, you can nerf the offense by making 50-50s less rewarding or more risky for attackers, or, like, create rock, paper, scissors, because tossing coins is super boring. I know rock, paper, scissors is not much more interesting, but, like, if we had stronger sidesteps or stronger parries to make situations more like a 33-33-33 rather than just a coin flip, the game would become at least marginally more interesting. But they could just nerf offense a lot across a ton of characters, or they could buff defense. to be broken. Now, I made it sound like I wanted defense to be broken, and to be fair, I do want defense to be stronger. I want movement to be strong, like really strong. I think movement's just cool in fighting games, so having really strong movement would be nice if you ask me. But I always think that the offense should be toned down, but if they decide they want the offense to be overpowered as crap, they need to make defense overpowered. If defense was overpowered, at least the game would be kind of explosive and kind of like a, oh, I can always fight back. You always have to be weary of the cornered beast, which at least would be slightly more interesting, I think. But oh well. So yeah, either nerf offense a lot, or just buff defense to be broken, or nerf offense a little bit and buff defense a significant amount. That third option is what I actually want. Right, so I'm going to pull Devil Jin up because I think Devil Jin's like actually a decent case, partly because I just know him very well. But another thing another elephant they have to address is characters. And what I mean by characters isn't the characters we have. Well, okay, it is, but like, so let me try to explain this. In Tekken 7, Devil Jin was kind of like a Poke Mishima, not that one, but like this, because in Tekken 7, his old down forward 1-2, I guess I just use this as a visual, was a safe on block mid, but it was not natural, so it was like mid-mid, it was safe, and it had no extra properties like this move, which wall splats, because screw you. So Devil Jin's was pretty poking based, and he had a pretty good far-reaching jab. In Tekken 7, it reached slightly further than it does today. And he had pretty good down forward 1. The down forward 1 has a better hitbox than today, I think, just a tiny bit more range. So the point is that Devil Jin excelled at mid-range. He was pretty good at mid-range, and he had a stupid 50-50. He always has this stupid 50-50. But in Tekken 7, it was weaker because in Tekken 7, you only got like 40 damage off his hell sweep, and it doesn't work properly at the wall as well. So, yeah. But Jin in Tekken 7 was a character who had like everything, but his jab was kind of stubby, his down forward 1 was a bit stubby, and Jin's Okizeme wasn't as strong. Devil Jin had better Okizeme because he had like steel pedal. Even when they nerfed his up 4-4 in like season 4 or whatever in Tekken 7 to where it's like no longer wall splats or knocks down, he still had this steel pedal, which is still really good. So there was differences. Like the two characters shared some moves. I mean, they had an electric, a 50-50, a hell sweep, a demon paw, but they were still different. They still excelled at different things. In this game, I won't lie, I'm not saying they're the same character, but what does Devil Jin have over Jin? Jin's jab got buffed. Like, let me just show it. Like, Jin's jab got buffed to have pretty good range. His down forward 1 got really far. Always had this punish. He has a new... He's always had Zanshin and Zenshin, basically the same thing. And they made his 50-50s better because he added this. They gave him a new low, which does that, because why not? That goes into stance if you want to. He can hit confirm this. I guess he's always been able to, but still. He gains dive kicks for plus frames. He gains this for plus frames. He has a safe mid that wall splats, because why not? And a safe high tracking armor move. This used to be a heat engager, by the way, because why not? And you're like, okay, how is that so similar to Devil Jin? Well, Devil Jin does get more movement and fairness, but he can't go backwards. Because the thing about Jin's Zanshin is that he can use it as a backswing blow, or I should say a Kempo step, where he moves backwards with evasion, by the way, like high evasion, and counterattack you if you whiff. Devil Jin can only go forward. And Devil Jin does have moves that let him go into the stance, but this is not natural. Let me turn his blocking back on. This is not natural. This is counter hit only. This is natural. What else? This is natural, and this gives this guaranteed super good whiff punisher. This is an amazing whiff punisher, I won't lie. and so on and so forth. But when you take a look at the stance, okay, that's a mid, knockdown, +9 on block, soccer kick is guaranteed on hit. You get this, safe tracking mid, -14 on block. We now have the grab thing, unblockable hit. Okay. And then you do that, you have this, which you never actually use as a mix-up because it's super unsafe. And you have this as a safe somewhat tracking mid. Kind of tracking, I think it's a bit of it. It's kind of like a steel pedal. Kinda. So, you're like, oh, those are all mids besides the unblockable. That's pretty good. And then you can sidestep right most of it. You sidestep right duck. Sorry, sidestep right duck. And it basically beats everything. Now, in fairness, he could just do this, and he'll be safe. He could just do this and be safe, but he's -9 at point blank, so nice, have fun with that. And that's like it. Like, sure, he can go for plus frames, but like, Jin's stance is way more versatile. And I don't even just mean this in terms of strength. I mean this in more in terms of, like, Jin's always had this stance, and he has more utility. Like, that's hit confirmable, and this is safe. This is safe because it's a high. He has armor moves. He has a grab. I forgot that he had this grab. He has this grab. It's not even that amazing, but it's nice in case the opponent like parries or armors, I mean. He has this really good low, only -14, and it's hard to react to, and it's evasive, and it does this, because why not, into another 50-50. And because, again, he can use this as a Kempo step, and it's evasive, and his dive kick is plus on block. Now, in fairness, Double Jin's always had this backswing blow, reanimated in this game, but it's -15. Now, because it's a heat engager, of course, it is plus on block, and, you know, I get good damage if I do it, but Jin sort of always has a backswing blow, but it's plus on block. Now, in fairness, if you use it as a backswing blow, it's slow, but still. Now, what am I getting at here? That's all of it for a stance, but, like, what am I getting at? Jin now has a good jab, while Devil Jin's got nerfed. Jin has a way better mid poke now, when back then, that was Double Jin's strength. And now, Jin has a stance that's better in both utility and in some cases outdoes what Double Jin's does. And Jin just has, like, I don't know, like, almost everything like Double Jin could want. Because you know how I said that Jin had bad Okizeme, like worse Okizeme? Well, now he has this. Oops. Let me just do a demonstration. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. I haven't done this in a while. Can I, like, play the game? Oh my gosh. So, Jin has this, not new move per se, but he does that. He has CD1, which on knockdown, like, if he knocks you down, you just get splatted. Like, you get reset. You get flipped over. This CD1 is really good at chasing tech rolls and stuff. So they start giving him really good Okizeme in multiple ways with that down 4-3-3 reset, which you can just stand up, but if you're not ready for it or accidentally press the wrong get up, you just get flipped over like a pancake. So they basically try to give Jin a sort of steel pedal-like move that fulfills a similar role in knockdown. And he has this new low, which also does the same thing. Like, if I... what's it called? With this, yeah. So if that axe kick hits, he gets that, and it's super easy. Not as damaging, but it's super easy. But it chases a lot. It was OP in Season 1. It was pretty good in Season 1 because it was a shadow cutter that was hard to react to, but besides the point. So yeah, Jin now sort of does a lot of what Devil Jin does. I know that was a very long tangent, that I felt was important to explain. Because this sort of explains a lot of Season 2. A lot of Season 2 is make almost every character a stance character, and now a lot of your character's worth is how good your stance is. And the only characters who don't really have a stance is like Brian, kinda, but they made his sway function like a stance in terms of like I have so many setups into it and stuff. But the only characters who don't truly have a stance is just Asuka and Claudio. That's it. And for them, they just made them overpowered with absurdly overpowered basics. And like Asuka just gets her entire thing removed, like her entire identity removed. They removed a lot of characters' identity because they made every character a stance character, and they made every character like super rushdown. So we have a bunch of rushdown stance characters. And a lot of characters have decent poking, but we're not poke characters. That's archetype is not strictly dead, but like not very strong. Not very prevalent, I should say. So what can they do? Well, like I said, nerf characters offense. Like let's use Asuka. She was supposed to be a defense character, you know, Aikido, parry, sabakis, and all that, evasion and crap. Why does she have better offense than like Craig Marduk? I don't know. Beats me. Same thing with June. Like when you make every character a very similar archetype, it's hard for characters to stand out. Like, oh, every character now has a wall rising 2 that is frame 15, because why not? And Devil Jin's got buffed back to frame 14, but that's an old thing. But my point stands. If we made characters more unique, that does mean what the introduced weaknesses. Like, please reintroduce character weaknesses. Not every character needs to be able to do everything. Trust me, Bamco. It doesn't make the game strictly more interesting. Because the whole point of, like, a kusoge, if you guys know what that is, it just basically means bad game in Japanese, I guess. Yes, those characters are overpowered. They have overpowered defense and offense, but they still usually have to have complexities. Because this game is trying to be coin flip simulator, you have these overpowered characters that feel overbearing to fight, and your only option to win often feels like just making guesses. So yeah, I think that basically covers most of the stuff. Other thing for Season 3 is please do not introduce way more moves. Please don't do that again. I know they're banking it all in one big patch again for some reason, but please don't introduce too many moves. So yeah, that's my Season 3 wish list. I could be more specific on specific characters, but I think I just want to cover general stuff. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not super hopeful, but if the developers decide to like actually lock in, they can definitely make a decent Season 3, but we'll have to see. So yeah, that's it, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe for more. This video is just another rant video, which I occasionally do just to let out steam. I don't know what kind of content will be coming soon. It's getting to the end of the year, kind of winding down a bit. I'll catch y'all later, all right? Goodbye.